Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
State of being gratified or satisfied. Compensation for a wrong. We were unable to get satisfaction from the local store. Act of fulfilling a desire or need or appetite. The satisfaction of their demand for better services. Law. The payment of a debt or fulfillment of an obligation. The full and final satisfaction of the claim. The contentment one feels when one has fulfilled a desire, need, or expectation. The chef tasted the sauce with great satisfaction. State of being gratified or satisfied. Dull repetitious work gives no gratification. The act or an instance of satisfying. Compensation for a wrong. The act of atoning for sin or wrongdoing, especially appeasing a deity. Compensation for a wrong. The act of atoning for sin or wrongdoing, especially appeasing a deity. The state of a person's emotions, especially with regard to pleasure or dejection. His emotional state depended on her opinion. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Any incorporeal supernatural being that can become visible, or audible, to human beings. Infuse with spirit. The company spirited him up. Animation and energy in action or expression. The state of a person's emotions, especially with regard to pleasure or dejection. He was in good spirits. An inclination or tendency of a certain kind. The intended meaning of a communication. A fundamental emotional and activating principle determining one's character. The vital principle or animating force within living things. A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. Something done or paid in expiation of a wrong. How can I make amends? A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. An act of compensation for actual loss or damage or for trouble and annoyance. A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. Protection against future loss. Legal exemption from liability for damages. Act of correcting an error or a fault or an evil. A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. Make reparations or amends for. A sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. Getting something back again. Upon the restitution of the book to its rightful owner, the child was given a tongue lashing. The act of restoring something to its original state. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. The act of paying money. An act of requiting, returning in kind. A sum of money paid or a claim discharged. Happiness with one's situation in life. Your personal satisfaction, or dissatisfaction, with the cultural or intellectual conditions under which you live, as distinct from material comfort. The new art museum is expected to improve the quality of life. A state of being relaxed and feeling no pain. He is a man who enjoys his comfort. Lessen pain or discomfort. Alleviate. Give moral or emotional strength to. The act of consoling, giving relief in affliction. Bedding made of 2 layers of cloth filled with stuffing and stitched together. A freedom from financial difficulty that promotes a comfortable state. He had all the material comforts of this world. A feeling of freedom from worry or disappointment. Assistance, such as that provided to an enemy or to a known criminal. It gave comfort to the enemy. Satisfaction or physical well-being provided by a person or thing. His friendship was a comfort. Dwell on with satisfaction. Malicious satisfaction. Gaze at or think about something with great self-satisfaction, gratification, or joy. Great merriment. Malicious satisfaction. The act of consummating something, a desire or promise, etc. A feeling of satisfaction at having achieved your desires. A feeling of self-respect and personal worth. Unreasonable and inordinate self-esteem, personified as one of the deadly sins. Be proud of. He prides himself on making it into law school. A group of lions. Satisfaction with your, or another's, achievements. He takes pride in his son's success. The trait of being spurred on by a dislike of falling below your standards. The feeling you have when you are satisfied with yourself. The feeling you have when you are satisfied with yourself. His complacency was absolutely disgusting. The feeling you have when you are satisfied with yourself. Malicious satisfaction. The act of consummating something, a desire or promise, etc. A feeling of satisfaction at having achieved your desires. The feeling you have when you are satisfied with yourself. The collection of rules imposed by authority. The great problem for jurisprudence to allow freedom while enforcing order. The branch of philosophy concerned with the law and the principles that lead courts to make the decisions they do. The learned profession that is mastered by graduate study in a law school and that is responsible for the judicial system. He studied law at Yale. A rule or body of rules of conduct inherent in human nature and essential to or binding upon human society. The collection of rules imposed by authority. Civilization presupposes respect for the law. The force of policemen and officers. The law came looking for him. The branch of philosophy concerned with the law and the principles that lead courts to make the decisions they do. A generalization that describes recurring facts or events in nature. The laws of thermodynamics. Legal document setting forth rules governing a particular kind of activity. There is a law against kidnapping.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.